A lot of people don't understand when I say that Mexicans are culturally racist. They think that I'm calling us openly racist. We are culturally racist, and this is how. Part of our culture is to frown upon dark skinned people.
African Americans in this country has had a long and mighty walk. We've been through so many different things in this country, from Jim Crow to black codes to slavery to after slavery, redlining, not being able to get insurance policies. We could only get burial policies. Not not being able to get our pensions, from our jobs at certain times. We had to fight to get all these things put on the books to protect us, right? Couldn't get our GI bills. There were so many things that Black Americans had to fight for in this country before other immigrants started to really come here and benefit from what our grandparents was putting down. But what we notice is when a lot of these groups come here in today's time, they come here and they start to compare themselves to us and talk down on us and even separate themselves from us. Well, go over to the Diamond Society, try to marry or have children with them, and look down on us and say, stay away from those people. While still coming here, going to HBCUs, living, some of them even live in our communities, right? We patronize these stores, and they're benefiting off the things that our grandparents established. They came over when the coast was clear, right? Well, there was a woman that called into Tariq Nasheed's show, and she was from Venezuela, right? And she started to say, why does Black Americans commit so much crime, and why does Black Americans, why are they so nasty and vile, right? And Tariq Nasheed said, excuse me, you're from Venezuela. They have probably the top five most crime. It's probably the top five most crime-ridden country in the world, and you're talking about us. Let's listen to how this went down, right, and then we'll come right back.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Why do Black Americans commit so many crimes in America and immigrants do so much better when they come to America?
Okay. Okay. An interesting question now, ma'am, Miss Ye. Now, where are you from originally, dear?
I'm from Venezuela.
Ven- really? Did a Venezuelan really ask why we commit so many crimes? Really, ma'am? Did you really ask that? No, really? Are you trolling? Yay, trolling, aren't you? I know a Venezuelan in one of the most crime-ridden countries in the Western Hemisphere. Didn't bring your ass up here talking about why we commit crime. The crime, y'all got Venezuelan gangs up here now that they have to deport because of all the damn crime. Did you really fix your mouth to say that, dear? I don't have you muted, ma'am. Hop on. Huh? Are you in there talking to somebody? You got a white man in there giving you talking points?
Yes,
Yes.
base of respect.
Yeah, you got a white man. Are you laying up with a white man in there?
Yes, why Black Americans commit crimes?
We don't. There's no black crime. We don't have nothing. There's no such thing as black crime. But you have Venezuelan crime. You have organized Venezuelan crime that's highly organized. It spills over here. So why do you have so much crime where it goes international, man? We don't have black American gangs down there committing crimes, but y'all got them all up here. Why is that? Hmm? I don't have you muted.
Why do immigrants do better?
Better how?
Why do immigrants do better?
Do better how? You haven't explained how you're doing better. How are you doing better? Hmm? You haven't explained how. Doing better at crime? Well, you have a lot of criminals. You do better in crime. Is that what you mean? Hmm?
They are more educated.
Ma'am, you can barely talk now. How are you more educated? Hmm?
We are more educated.
Ma'am, you're not more educated. You fled from your homeland. Then you from the most violent countries in the damn world. What kind of education is that? Hmm? Y'all got the one of the top homicide rates in the world. It's like a war zone. Yeah, somebody white boys in there giving you some talking points. Yeah? Come on now. Y'all got some of the biggest criminal what El Tren de Agua? Come on, man. Y'all
Black people are very violent.
we're who? Put the white boy on the phone, ma'am. Don't he's giving you talking points. Put the white boy on the phone. Hmm? Okay.
Black people are very
Oh,
violent.
just saying stuff. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can't even use your own talking points. You got some white supremacists in there giving you talking points. A Venezuelan talking about crime? Good Lord, even the Venezuelan migrants up here, they come up here and everywhere they go, it becomes a hot spot for violence. Come
And see, this Venezuelan woman is saying that she was with a W man at the time. And you could tell that if she was with this W man, he was in her ear and he was coaching her. He was telling her what to say. Now, we know that Venezuela is a country where Hugo Chavez was, ultimately unalive and the economy tanked. And the country just went into a whole just shambles. And Venezuela started to flesh their target with their deviants, and they started to send them right into America, right? But before we really get off into the Venezuelan situation, we were already dealing with anti-black racism from Latinos here in America, from all kinds of groups, from Mexicans, Hondurans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. Now, on the East Coast, you have some Puerto Ricans and Dominicans that's cool, but you also have a lot of them that also practice anti-black racism, right? And we've been dealing with this for some time. Y'all don't believe me? Check it out.
Does it surprise you that California's largest racial bias cases are of Latino employees discriminating?
Honestly, I'm not even surprised because there is a lot of anti-blackness that exists within the Latino community, and I already know there's going to be a lot of people that deny that, but it's a fact that it exists. And with the Latino identity being something that stems from colonization, you have to look at the history on how even the caste system was implemented, and at the bottom of the caste system, it was Africans. So a lot of people have internalized this as just the norm, where they don't even recognize how anti-black they're being in their actions and in their ideologies and beliefs. And I say it because my mom's a street vendor and she's been robbed many times. And I remember sharing it one time on Instagram, and a non-black Latino messaged me where he was like, "Oh, I bet they were black, huh?" Like, their first concern wasn't even if my mom's okay, but it highlights how internalized it is within Latino and how many of them operate on confirmation bias. So many of them are very secretive about their anti-blackness, just waiting for a reason to be like, "I told you, I knew it." It's always them.
A lot of people don't understand when I say that Mexicans are culturally racist. They think that I'm calling us openly racist. We are culturally racist, and this is how. Part of our culture is to frown upon dark skinned people. It's been passed down to us by the Spaniards, by our colonizers, by the people that conquered us, taught us that dark skin is inferior, light skin is superior. We were taught that. It was passed down to us, meaning it's part of our culture. We are culturally racist in this aspect. That doesn't mean I go out in the streets and want to hurt black people because they're black. It means that our teachings, the way we're raised, is that we are raised to subconsciously believe that dark skin is inferior and light skin is superior. Another element in our Mexican culture is Univision News, Univision Channel. That channel is run by white Latinos. The ideologies and subliminal teachings that they teach is very similar to Fox News. White supremacist-ish. They make efforts to depict dark-skinned people as criminals, that whenever they even bother sharing news about dark-skinned people is when they do something wrong. But yet, when they want to mention anything that has to do with light-skinned people, specifically white people, is to depict them as them doing good deeds around the world, feeding the homeless, etc. You get it. My grandmother was visiting one day from Mexico. She's never lived in the United States. She has no idea what life is out here. She was watching Univision News, where they depicted a black American committing a crime. She turned around and said, Oye, estos negros solo estorban, ¿verdad? Hey, these black folks, all they do is get in the way, huh? Here's the interesting part. She's never met a black person in her life. She has no idea what it's like to interact with a black person, but yet she already has an opinion about black people as a whole. Why? Because part of our culture, in this particular case, Univision News, since we were children, we have been subliminally taught that blacks are bad, criminals, etc. And whites are good, decent, giving, saviors, etc.
Now, under the Joe Biden administration, they had the borders wide open, and anybody could just walk over and scurry over into America, right? And you started to see Texas and Florida and these southern border states overrun with immigrants, specifically Venezuelan migrants. And the governor of Texas, he started to bus these migrants from Texas up to Chicago, up to Colorado, all across middle America, right? Into New York City and all these different places. As soon as they got there, they started to turn up. They started to really turn up in places like Colorado and Chicago. And then you started to see the formation of a gang called TDA, Trinidad Agua, whatever their names are, right? And they started to come there and they brought that same foolishness that they had going on in Venezuela, they brought it to America. And they went into the ghettos. Now, this is the question that I asked. Where are they getting the guns and the substances, the illegal substances from, right? These are supposed to be immigrants coming in across the border. They coming in with money. They coming in, like where they getting all the firearms and all this kind of stuff. This stuff is really fishy. And there's a lot of black people in those communities that started to really call this stuff out. They was confused and wondering, like, wait a minute. They're coming in and their numbers are growing fast. Right, and they got cars. They taking over housing developments. They just running wild, right? This is what some of the people were saying. Check it out.
Let me tell you how crazy this is. In Aurora, Colorado, there's a Venezuelan gang that has taken over 2 apartment buildings. I kid you not. The landowner has contacted the local authorities. They said there's nothing they can do about it. That's squatter laws, bro. I kid you not. Look this up. Number 2, he went to the FBI. They said there's nothing they can do. And he even went to the marshals, y'all. And this Venezuelan gang has taken over the apartment building. They're charging the tenants inside rent money like they're the landlords. Meanwhile, the real landlord can't get these people evicted.
Y'all, these migrants are getting worse, and a lot of the media is not covering it. A 19-year-old Venezuelan migrant just literally shot 2 police officers in New York City, NYPD, at point blank. He shot them at point blank range. Now they have him in custody and he's being charged. But what they are saying is that he basically is stating that a gang is instructing him to shoot at cops.
So Fox News heard about these Venezuelan gangs and all the stuff that was going on, right? And they jumped in the van and rode down on the south side of Chicago because they wanted to know what was actually going on out here in the streets, right? And could there be a potential war between the black gangs and these new Venezuelan gangs now coming into the community, right? This is what they uncovered.
We went out to some of Chicago's most violent neighborhoods to meet with current and former gang members who tell us that TDA first showed up when the city opened up migrant shelters in these areas, and that now the Venezuelans are trying to move in on territories controlled by the city's black gangs, setting up their own operations and actively recruiting kids and teens in the neighborhood.
It's only a matter of time before things escalate because they moving in our neighborhoods. It's different areas that different guys, I guess, different so-called organizations or gangs had, and they moving on their blocks and standing out there and trying to emulate them or doing the same thing that they doing.
And see, let me say this. Before these migrants started to really come here, we were already having problems with a lot of the lot of Latinos and Latino communities in certain states across America. Now, I just happen to be from the East Coast, Philadelphia. I live in a city where we have the third largest Puerto Rican population in the country. And we don't bang against Puerto Ricans. For the most part, we always got along with Puerto Ricans. But I found out that when you go to other states across America, it's not like that. Puerto Ricans in Chicago, blacks and Puerto Ricans are not getting along like that. You're not allowed in those communities, right? When you go to certain communities up in New York City, man, they're not rocking with you like that. Sometimes some do in the Bronx and stuff like that. Over there in Bushwick, they do, but some places they don't. I'm in Philadelphia, and our numbers are greater, right? So we don't have any problems out there. We never had problems out of the Puerto Ricans, but I'm finding out those Mexicans, man. I found out that a lot of those Mexicans practice anti-black racism in Texas, Arizona, California, especially in the prison systems. It gets real bad, right? So you have a brother that was on TikTok, and he was clowning around being funny, but he was exposing the racism of Mexicans in California. He did this.
To protest with the immigrants, cuz. We need to go downtown and protest with the essays.
Go down there and protest?
Yeah, black and brown love. We are allies, blood.
Let me think about that.
Right.
Man, LA, dog, if you know, and if you don't, you don't. LA's racist.
But at the time, Martinez in that recording also referred to the child as a monkey. The councilman in a statement called the comments vile and disgraceful and said that, quote, Martinez attacked her son with horrific racist slurs and talked about her desire to physically harm him.
Well, we don't want to sign to no blacks. Right. Southsiders do want, guess, I don't want to speak on that, but we don't want to sign to no blacks.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The Mexican gang, they already have their laws.
Yeah.
And you're going to follow their laws.
Yeah.
Like, you can't sleep in the cell with a black guy.
Really?
No, it's against the law.
A Mexican gang member cannot have a black cellie.
No. He has to go to the hole.
So he has to basically fight that guy.
They sabotage black and white people on jobs, get black and white people fired on jobs, and then you will see their cousins, their uncles, their brothers, their sisters, and everybody on the job got fired because they didn't try to get you out of there, and their whole family is there. And don't let one of them become a supervisor.
You know what? I'm going to just sit this one out.
For real, folks? Are you sure?
Yeah, I am sure.
So let me say this to a lot of the immigrants out there. You guys live in a country that you say that the government is oppressing the people. And you was able to pack up and leave. And the United States is giving green cards to a lot of you immigrants that's coming here where you come from the best of your class. A lot of you are educated, you're smart, and you come here and you start to outperform. You start to perform on a high level, a lot of you, when you get here, right? But let me tell you something. If you took the best of the black American class, that 10%, the best, the higher learning educated, and we sent them to your country, they will outmaneuver you guys in 2 months. 2 months. If you took black Americans, the best class, the best of our class, they will go to your country and outdo those same and outperform the same people there as well. We will run circles around them. So when you guys come here, right, and you start doing jobs and you start doing good, you ain't doing nothing that we ain't already done. You're able to do it because we already did it. We already did it. We already worked all the jobs from low paying wages to the highest order. We did all those things already. You ain't doing nothing that we ain't done before you that provided the stage for you to be able to do it. But then you come here and you thumb your nose up. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I'm not trying to hear like a lot of you West Africans, a lot of you brothers and sisters from East Africa, from Kenya, and places like that. When you get over here, I'm not like, you guys understand colonization and what happened. Y'all don't get no excuses the same way we don't get any excuses. When you come here from Dominican Republic, you come here, y'all know who the open enemy is. You choose to want to acquiesce to them, right? And at the same time, have an issue with us when we don't have a history of hurting y'all at all. Did we make some little jokes every now and then to my Haitian brothers and sisters and to my African family? Did we make jokes? Yeah, but we were kids. Now let me tell you guys something. Let me let you in on a little secret. The very jokes that we said to you guys, we said it to each other first before y'all got there. We already said it. You guys, it wasn't exclusive to just you guys. Black American culture, we had the funniest comedians in the world because our jokes was a coping mechanism to dealing with the atrocities that we were dealing with. So when you guys come here and we start to bust on you, that's actually a form of endearment to try to ingratiate you into the culture, right? You start busting back. We say, oh man, this dude funny. That's just part of our culture. So the very things that you got made fun of, we did it to each other first. So you're not special. And we were children when we was doing that. So get over it, man. Get over it. But I just wanted to just show, what's going on still here in this country despite the deportations. We're still experiencing anti-black racism from so many different groups, and we don't even have the power to deport anybody, right? But I'm going to cut this video short here. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.